I'm sorry, Professor Ranmore, Mr. Davison. I must still have water in my ears. It sounded like you suggested your deep-sea drilling has woken something up.
That's right, Doctor WHeasel. Or at least it's the only plausible explanation I've got.
Plausible? It's a pretty lousy explanation, Terry, if you ask me.
Look, Dave, we've been over this. Whatever caused the rig to shake uncontrollably after yesterday's test bore was unlike any natural tremor I've experienced. Just look at the seismograph printouts and try telling me they're normal readings.
Maybe the seabed shifted under the rig's feet. Or we opened up a subsurface chasm.
Unlikely, Dave. We're grounded on firm bedrock and nowhere near a subduction zone.
Come on, Professor. Occam's razor would suggest the simplest solution is usually correct. I say we've likely hit a natural subsurface void.
No, Mr. Davidson. A void intersection would have registered a totally different waveform and... I'm sorry, Doctor WHeasel. As you can see, we've been debating the cause since yesterday afternoon.
Perfectly understandable. But Professor, Mr. Davidson's suggestion does sound the most credible. Any scientist knows instruments can give odd readings for mundane occurrences.
Yes. I've considered all of that. But I'm not satisfied.
Which is why we've recalibrated everything to make sure they're working correctly.
Doctor, the tremor was only part of what happened. Why we really need your help is because moments after the rig shook, the hot water turnpipe began screaming.
With Doctor WHeasel apparently deceased after an unfortunate encounter with his own people, itinerant assistant Advick Goose is left to masquerade as Entity's chief scientific officer. Now, deep in the North Sea aboard the Project Tiamat rig, he seeks to dig into the mystery in Doctor WHeasel and the Screams from the Deep, Part 2.
Screaming water pipes? Sounds like my last hotel. Although, by your expressions, I take it this wasn't some loose piping, but something Entity would actually be concerned about.
If you ask me...
Which we weren't. But go on, David. Let's get it all out into the open.
It wasn't screaming, but escaping steam. You know, like a whistling kettle.
I wondered when one of you would suggest that. Quite conceivable, I'd say.
Dash it all, Davison. I know the difference between the sound escaping superheated steam makes and horrific, undulating screaming. In my opinion, the only way we can resolve this question is through conducting a new drill test.
Okay, Professor. If you think it's a good idea, not sure I like the idea of the rig shaking itself to bits if you're wrong. Okay with you, Doctor WHeasel?
Oh, you mean me? Yes, probably the right thing to do. In my experience, yes. So, you set up while I get some of my specialist equipment out of the Weasness. I was worried they'd mistaken me for you initially, Doctor, but now it's a little bit of a thrill. Maybe this is why you kept me around, so I could eventually succeed you as Doctor WHeasel. Well, you might be dead, old friend, but I hope I'll live up to your reputation, such as it was. Okay, Advick, enough stalling. I think I've got all the important gadgets and widgets that I'll need. Back to the rig to see what's happening. Oh, they're starting without me. I wish I'd found some air defenders.
I've got the main shaft in hard and deep, Terry. Lubrication's running hotter around the bit than ideal, but no chance of it sticking. Status is generally firm.
Okay, then. We're coming up on the subcrustal zone where we hit problems yesterday. Doctor WHeasel, we're back. Excellent timing.
Sounds to me like everything's running smoothly.
Smooth enough, sure, but I'd hold on to something in case. Sweet cheddar cheeses! The rig's shaking again!
Spin it down, Dave. Reduce the drive to neutral. Okay. That's brought things back under control.
On the surface maybe, Terry, but look at the seismograph!
That's impossible. It's showing a subcrustal quake of incredible magnitude, but why can't we feel anything?
I keep telling you, it's the seabed sensors. There's got to be something wrong with...
Still going to try telling me that it's only steam escaping?
There is some steam leaking, Professor. But okay, that is definitely screaming too.
I wouldn't want to pull rank, but as the most experienced investigator here into Fortean-like weirdness, I'd suggest we withdraw your drill pronto.
Terry, should we?
Yes, Dave, absolutely. Retract the drill assembly back just below the seabed.
Full reverse mode engaged. Drill bit moving to standard parking lock.
Phew. Whew. That was even more intense than the last time. Dr. WHeasel, you're the expert. What did you make of it? Whatever is that contraption we're holding?
This little thing, why, it's a modulated neutrino deep core spectranalyzer. Of course it is. Yes. Now, give me a moment to finish aligning its beam emitters. And there we have it. I believe, not to be too big-headed about matters, that I've located the source of our problem.
Already? Oh, quit keeping us in suspense.
Certainly not. I was... well, it can be a little tricky to get the Visio display's resolution right. Why did he never fork out for anything beyond the entry-level equipment? Being economical my left wing. Cheapskate through and through, that fellow.
Sorry? Who wouldn't pay for more expensive equipment, Doctor?
Nothing. No, nobody, really. I was just talking to myself, in the third person. Do it all the time. A terrible habit of his. Mine. Aha! Anyway, look at that. Clear as day.
What am I supposed to be looking at here? All I can see is a lot of red blobs moving around the larger black blob.
Yeah, it's easier for a trained eye. Great, now I'm talking like him as well. This image, Mr. Davison, shows your drill has been entering a subsurface chamber, although rather than being a void, it's suffused with, I'd hazard, some kind of mineralogical life form. Suffused, I am so the adult in the room for once.
Are you telling me there's rock creatures under the seabed?
Yes, I rather think they might be the source of your original heat readings, too.
So my experiments are bust and I've endangered an undiscovered life form as well.
Happens to the best of us, Professor Ranmore. Why, I recall there was this time on the Octurus cluster I popped in to visit a Distroline refinery operation where...
Professor, Doctor, I'm reading a surging overpressure in the water return pipe. Almost as if something...
Or possibly someone. Don't look at me. I've met some creature for whom solidity is really only a state of mind.
David, activate the emergency bulkheads. We can't risk the rig blowing out.
They're all engaged, but whatever's happening is blowing straight through them like they weren't even there. I just made 15 minutes before it hits the drill head.
We have to abandon the rig. Telephone for an urgent pickup from the shore station.
There isn't time. Aberdeen's over an hour away, even if they got a bird into the air right now.
I might have another idea, and I can't believe I'm suggesting this, but we could travel down to the subsurface chamber and negotiate with these creatures. If my reading of the spectranalyzer is correct, and there's no possibility it isn't, they're showing high levels of organization, bordering at least on a rudimentary sapience.
You want me to travel under the sea, apologise to some sort of hot rock creature for my drilling into its house, and then ask it to kindly not explode the rig and kill all of my team.
Nicely summated, Professor. I can see why you're leading this project.
And how, Doctor WHeasel, are we supposed to get down there? We don't happen to have a submarine lashed to the hull.
Why, in my Weasness, of course. She's had a bit of a battering, but she's a resilient old girl. It'll simply be child's play to take her down to that subterranean realm in, well, a matter of moments.
Travel? A new tiny portable toilet? Look, I know you're not from this planet, Doctor, but there is no way we'd all fit inside.
Oh, come with me. There's no time to waste explanations. The shame really is I love a good elucidation. Or, if you prefer, sit around the rig, crossing everything and keep hoping overpressure in the water pipe doesn't explode everything into metallic splinters.
When you put it like that...
Bigger than it looks from the outside. That's a very handy trick. How does it work?
The interior dimensions? Oh, through superpositional quantum engineering and things like that. Oddly, I've never really thought I understood it that well myself, but it all seems to be getting so much clearer today. Now, not a moment to lose. It's time for us to voyage to the bottom of the sea and beyond.
What lies in wait quivering beneath the seabed for the increasingly out of their depth professor and her engineering chief? Can the project be saved, or have the population of the Earth unwittingly declared war on a new species? And will Advick be able to make good on his boast to fly the Wheasel solo? Or is his undersea adventure going to come to a swift end? Find out the answer in episode 3 of Doctor WHeasel and the Screams from the Deep.
Doctor WHeasel is a Weasel City Order Enterprise production, starring Randolph Weasel as Doctor WHeasel, Cooington Goose as Advick Goose, and featuring Joe Scott Darrell as Professor Terry Ranmore, Connor Darrell as Dave Davison, and Joe Ryan for special monster effects.